What is going on, everybody? It has, for some reason, been a super long week. Let me tweak this down just a little bit. I have been extremely busy this week, so I am just happy to be here with everybody. I hope everybody's had a good time. Hope everybody had a good New Year's. That has been, I'm not going to make the stupid joke of haven't seen you since last year, but it's been a long time. What's going on, Jeff? Good to see you. Lissa, hello and happy New Year's. Mitchell's here and Dustin. Hey, everybody. So again, a lot of announcements because primarily most of this is going to be Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels because that's how they do it on the first of the month. And then a crazy number of Kino titles this week. So we're going to go over a lot of those. I've got a super small stack of pickups, and then I thought it'd be fun just to bring up some more recommendations. And I got another digital giveaway. It's been a few weeks since I did that. Figured I'd do it again. What's up, Dave? Hey, flickering. What's going on, John? Yeah, it is freezing. I had to go. My car broke down a few weeks ago. My family van. I had to go pick it up tonight, and I could not stop shaking. I was so dang cold. What's up, Eric? Hey, Sardis. Good to see everybody. All right. I'm going to jump right into the announcements then so we can get past the fun part. First up, one of those crazy Kino titles, because again, we're getting, some of these days, we're getting like 3 Kino titles. So let's go through all these. Electroglide in blue, and I know I don't think anything about this. Hey, but it's coming out soon on Blu-ray from Kino. That's all I got for you. Stars Robert Blake, Mitchell Wright. Yeah, not many big names in this. Next. Oh, you know what? Maybe I went over that last week. Yeah, I did, huh? Or maybe not. No, these are all new. Okay. So we got more information from oh. Sardis says, got my horror folks set today. What is the plate all about? If you watch the documentary, they will mention the plate. It is not about any of the sets in the Blu-ray box set that you got. It is only on the documentary. It is a melamine plate, and a lot of people are upset about that. But the more important thing, a lot of people are upset because the plate doesn't look anything like the plate that they advertised to us when we bought it. But I won't get too deep into that. Oh, it's a great film. All right, good to know. So we got some information from Mondo Macabro about what is coming in 2022. We are getting Dr. Caligari in 4K, and obviously that's a big one, and that is going to be their first UHD. We are getting the Ghost of the Hunchback. I can't remember what order these are in. I think this might be El Vampiro de Autopista. And then the Ghost of the Hunchback, the Horrible Sexy Vampire, and then Purana Mandir. I'm probably butchering the titles there. Nice, Eric. Hopefully you get it pretty quickly. They usually come pretty quick once they actually ship. So here's a few things that we're working on for the upcoming year. Some will be out fairly early in 2022. Some may not happen until much later in the year. By no means is this everything. Expect a lot of those red limited edition case pre-orders. And they can confirm what many have speculated. Dr. Caligari, which was announced some months ago, when our 4K restoration played at Fantasia Fest, will be our first ever UHD release. Expect a deluxe UHD Blu-ray combo release later in the year. And then they say they're also working on their first box set, and that will tease us for a while. They will reveal more once it's closer to going into production. So that's pretty interesting. Eric is here. What's going on, Eric? He says Ghost of the Hunchback is pretty good. Flickering says, just bought the out-of-print Electra Glide from Shout Factory. Been a while since I've seen it, but think along the line of Two-Lay Blacktop. Okay, that's probably great then. It is not in pre-order yet. It was just an announcement. They don't even have a date for it yet. But with how they've been announcing these, and that one's not getting one of the big deluxe blues, I'm betting that'll be probably an April or May title, which means it'll probably go up around end of February or March. And from what I'm hearing about some of the dates, we should be getting some more of the 4K pre-orders here soon because we got more coming near the end of March and early April. Kino, We're going to talk about this a lot tonight, Lissa. So thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, there's a lot of Kino we're going to discuss tonight. I'll just leave it at that. Moving on from there, we got the Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels. Big midnight, brand new New Year's Day release announcements. So this is going to be like the next 20 minutes probably. So buckle in. Let's discuss these because I think this is one of the most massive months of releases, not only in quantity, but in awesome titles in a very long time from Vinegar Syndrome and their partner labels. Pretty much everything here sounds like it's right up my alley. I'm hoping that the community is agreeing because, oh my gosh, some of these are ridiculous that we are getting. I am stoked. So let's go into this. Forgotten Jolly Volume 4. This is the front of the box, which interesting because they have actual pictures of the people from the films. Don't think they've done that before. They were all printed art, digital art, whatever previously. Very interesting. John says, oh man, I can't find it. Who got drunk and ordered all of these? Probably a handful of people since it was the first. Eric says this will be my first Vinegar Syndrome sub delivery. Awesome. I think there's a lot of people that are doing that this time. Mitchell got Forgotten Jolly Volume 4. Fantastic, because I think this is going to be the best of the 4 yet. Dead Heat and Tiger Claws. That's a great order. Really solid order there. All right, so Forgotten Jolly Volume 4. First, we have Arabella Black Angel. Beautiful Arabella is an insatiable nymphomaniac with a crippled writer husband, Francesco, who is unable to please her. Instead, Arabella searches for lovers in illicit dens of debauchery, bedding an endless array of men. However, when her husband discovers her having sex with a stranger in their shed, Arabella panics and kills the man, only to discover that her sudden act of violence arouses creative inspiration in her Francesco. Covering up the crime, Francesco asks his wife to further explore her sexual fantasies and report back on her experiences. Unfortunately, Arabella's lovers are subsequently visited by someone else, a vengeful murderer who violently castrates them. Oh my God, the sleaze here. This is probably, this is going to sound really weird after reading that synopsis, but the most exciting Forgotten Jolly set for me, primarily because of this title and the third one. But let's get to that second one first. The second one is called The Killer is Still Among Us. Christiana is a college student who is studying criminology, because of course, after becoming intrigued by a vicious murder and mutilation of a young couple on a secluded lover's lane, Christiana begins her own investigation into the slayings. As she gathers clues that she hopes might lead to the killer's identity, she begins to find strange parallels between her unassuming boyfriend. And when the killer strikes again, Christiana becomes increasingly afraid that she is, in fact, living with a depraved sex killer. Now, this is a super intriguing title as well. I'm excited about the number 1 and number 3, but this sounds like it is really getting the heart of why I love Jolly and true Giallo films, because this is not only full of, the sleaze, the sex, the murder, all of that. It is a true mystery, and that is why I love so many of these. I can't wait to see this one. I've not seen this one, but the one that should be the most exciting for a lot of people, we are getting on Blu-ray The Sister of Ursula. Now, if you know on this one. Timid and reserved, though mildly psychotic, Ursula and her lusty sister Dagmar, along with Dagmar's drug-dealing friend Filippo, have arrived at a beautiful seaside hotel in order to locate their estranged mother, to complete their obligations in regards to an inheritance. But shortly after their arrival, they become embroiled in a web of terror as a black-clad mystery assailant begins murdering other guests with a most unusual weapon. And I'm sure by this point, most people have either seen the film or have heard what this most unusual weapon is. And I guarantee you, this third film alone is worth the price of admission. And my gosh, this is going to be an incredible box set. And legitimately, since we got this one at the end of 2021, this is already slated to be like one of the best box sets of the year, in my opinion. 2 at least great titles, and then one that sounds like it is perfect for me. This is probably going to be one of my favorites of the year. Just laying that out there now, and it's January 6th. Oh my gosh. Let me look at a couple of these comments. All right. Uh, Eric says, Aaron Pinn said Sister of Ursula is the best film of the three. Most likely. I've not seen the second one, but Sister of Ursula is great, and it will be memorable. I will say that much. And if you don't know what the weapon is, yeah, this is a very sleazy box set. Let's leave it at that. Sardis, how can you non-violently castrate someone? If you can, I don't really want to know how. Okay, so next after the box set, we got what we already knew was coming. Dead Heat in 4K. So obviously, this is a pretty well-known title. This is the front of the slip. Here's the back, which is just hilarious that they went with this on the back. You can't keep a good cop dead. Synopsis on this one. Detectives Doug Bigelow and Roger Mortis, gotta love that last name, have just tried and failed to take down a ring of master thieves who have been targeting high-end jewelry dealers. While orchestrating a massive siege, the thieves are violently eliminated, one blown apart and the other crushed. While being autopsied, the forensic pathologist makes an inexplicable discovery. The dead men were already dead before being killed. In other words, they were zombies. With little information to go on besides the presence of a strange man-made substance in the cadaver's flesh, Bigelow and Mortis attempt to piece together the mystery, which eventually leads them to a chemical plant, wherein Mortis, true to his name, winds up killed by a hulking zombie. But who's better to fight zombie criminals than a zombie cop? Dave, you mentioned this the other night, right? Vinegar syndrome. There was a mail problem and lost your order. Sucks. I can't believe that, but I'm so glad that they have great customer service and they are taking care of you, and you will still get that. Mitchell is really excited for this. That is awesome. I am too. It's going to be a really great month. So this is in 4K, and we are getting a lot of good stuff on here. We got the archival commentary track with the director and the screenwriter with the producers. New interview with the director, new interview with the visual effects artist, new interview with second unit director, new interview with the editor, new interview with the composer, and an archival interview with the makeup effects creator, plus still gallery, trailer, TV spots, all those other things. There is a lot on this. This looks to be a pretty great release. And then the one that is, to me, the least exciting one. Sardis says, I have never heard of any of these. Haven't watched that much Yalo yet. Lots to learn and see. Definitely check out Sister of Ursula and Arabella Black. You will like them. They are genuinely great. And honestly, probably a little above the forgotten Jolly title. But I think that out of the, what have we got, 9 titles so far, probably only about 4 of those 9 have been forgotten, in my opinion. Master of the World. I know nothing about this. I had never seen this, never heard of it, I don't think. This is the back cover. Yeah, really awkward. But let's go over this. At the dawn of human civilization, hundreds of thousands of years ago, war was a way of life, with rivaling tribes and vicious nomads transforming the earth into a non-stop bloodbath. Bog, a young man who dreams of being the leader of not just his tribe, but all of human civilization, begins a bloodthirsty quest for domination, wherein he'll need to fight and conquer both man and beast to truly ascend to the power he so desperately craves. Has anybody seen this one? Has anybody heard of this one? I don't know of any release of this previously. I'd like to know some thoughts on this one. Obviously, I'm getting it because I'm a sub, but yeah, I'm just lost on this one. This one is region free, newly scanned and restored in 4K from the OCN. There's going to be an interview with the assistant director on it, interview with the biographer and writer director Alberto Cavalloni. With the interviews with David Palucci, the biographer of the writer and director Alberto Cavalloni. Not a whole lot else on this release, so gonna be kind of light. Jason says, looks like something I would like. That's pretty funny. Mitchell says, I remember renting it on VHS. Nice. Although that might still be about Dead Heat. And Dave says, it is lots of fun. Saw in the theater back in the day. John would love to see some Joe Bob participating extras. I agree. Really nice. All right, Master of the World. And then Curfew. This one I also don't know anything about. I can't remember this at all, but it looks and sounds fantastic. Kind of boring in the back of the slip, but I really like the front of this slip. This is from 1989. Ray and Bob Perkins are brothers whose grisly killing spree has landed them on death row. Plotting a daring escape, they break free from prison with vengeance in mind, setting targets in the form of the key witnesses against them, but particularly the judge in their trial and the prosecuting attorney. Leaving a trail of maimed corpses as they enact their revenge, the brothers finally arrive at their prime target, the home of District Attorney Walter Davenport and his wife. What they don't expect, however, is the late return home of the Davenport's teenage daughter, Stephanie. So this is going to be a 2K scan from the 35 Inner Positive. An interview with the actor Wendell Wellman is there, interview with the editor, and the original trailer. Again, semi-light on the extras on this one. Sardis says, I read just what you read. Probably check it out. Sounds like something I would like also. Not so original a plot. Yeah. This one is interesting, at least. I do like the tagline at the top here: in by 10, dead by 12. That, it's good copy, at least. We will see if there is any good reviews on that one soon. Then we got an interesting VSA. We got Fortress of America with 3 Ks, of course. This is a Troma title. This is one, let me show the back here too. Very, very busty back in the movie here. So this one says, hidden deep in the forest next to sleepy Troma City, a band of ruthless mercenaries, the Fortress of America, have set up camp, practicing their violent tactics of war in preparation for an impending revolution. When the violence begins to take the lives of the townsfolk, John Whitecloud, a tough half-Indian with a bad reputation, decides to take matters into his own hands and protect his community. But facing as much animosity from the townspeople as from the mercenaries themselves, John quickly learns that he'll be fighting 2 battles. Now, when they were getting ready to announce this, they said that this is probably, hands down, without a doubt, the goriest VSA to date. That piqued my interest, at least. Troma is very hit or miss for me, so I'm curious to see what this one is. I don't think I've seen this one previously, but it looks good. It looks like, yeah, kind of like this. John says it sounds like a political variation of Troma's War. And Troma's War is, honestly, it's one of their better titles. So I will at least check it out. If they decided to distribute it, it must be semi-decent. This is getting a new 2K scan from the 35. Interview with the writer-director, how do you say that last name? Eric Luzil. Interview with the actor Troy Froman. Interview with actor Brad Roth. And then, of course, the double-sided poster. This is limited to 5,000. And everything else that all the standard VSAs have. Ryan Cheek says, this is 80s Troma, so it is great. 80s Troma is mostly a hit for me. I agree there. So this is probably going to be pretty spot on for me. And this is nearing the end, though. This is 89 Troma. I'm just curious to see what it is. But, super gory, that sounds right up my alley. And then I think 2 more Vinegar Syndrome titles. This one is the VSP for this month, which, very interesting. You can see on the right side here, this is another one of the cutout cases, just like number 2, Censor here. This is the 3rd VSP called The Scary of 61st. Dave says, Fortress certainly doesn't seem like VSA worthy, but you never know. Well, when you think about what VSAs are supposed to be, when they first announced them, it is literally called Vinegar Syndrome Archive, and it's for archiving those titles that were like video store staples. And I mean, to a point, it kind of does seem like that type of film. I'm not going to say that it is or not, because I don't remember if I've seen it. I don't think I have. So maybe it's not, but it sounds like it could fit. It's at least from that era. It's 1989. So here is the front of the slip box of The Scary of 61st. Here is the back. And then here is the slip, which is really great art. I love this. This looks fantastic. and then the back of it is the building itself. But I'm going to go back on this while we read the synopsis here. This is a brand new 2021 film, and Utopia has also done some work on this, and they are hyping this up like crazy all over Facebook and Twitter. Have not seen this yet, but it's gotten some very divisive reviews. Some people seem to think that it's great, and others seem to think that it is the most boring piece of shit they have ever seen. I am super eager to see this. So far, VSPs are kind of hit or miss for me as well. I will certainly say that, because Censor truly didn't land for me. I liked the extras on it, but the movie itself, I was not a giant fan of. So the synopsis here. Noelle and Addie have just moved into a beautiful, though impossibly cheap apartment on Manhattan's prestigious Upper East Side. Not long after their arrival, Addie's behavior drastically changes as she begins to sleepwalk and speak in a strange child's voice, much to the horror of her boyfriend, Greg. Noelle, meanwhile, becomes intrigued by a mysterious young woman who inexplicably shows up at their apartment, who reveals that she believes the apartment was previously owned by infamous sex criminal and friend of government elites, Jeffrey Epstein. Let's pause there while I take a drink. Now, who bet on the copy for one of Vinegar Syndrome's titles to name drop Jeffrey Epstein this year? Because I certainly didn't. Determined to uncover the truth, Noelle joins the woman in her search, a journey which takes them deeper into the illicit and occult world of terrifying globalist conspiracies where violence lurks at every turn. Certainly interesting, certainly something that is intriguing to me, something that makes me want to see it, at least. This is Region A Locked. This comes with a conversation with co-writer, director, and actress Dasha Nekrasova. Doing the undoable and saying the unsayable, a conversation with actress Betsy Brown. There's another conversation with the producer and actor Mark H. Rappaport. Commentary track with the writer, director, and actress and co-writer actress Madeline Quinn. Commentary track with film historians and authors Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson. Now, Alexandra Heller-Nicholas has been all over Vinegar Syndrome stuff lately, and this is not the end of it for this one. John says this is getting a hard pass from me, and a lot of people feel the same way. What's going on, Ken? Glad to have you. So like I said, Alexandra Heller-Nicholas, this is not the last time that she comes up on here. This also has a Q&A with the writer, director, actress from the Beyond Fest 2021 release of the film, which just happened a couple months ago, so that's interesting. 16-page booklet with essay by Heather Drain and the usual reversible art and subtitles. So that's the VSP. This is VSP number 3. Intriguing. I think it's an interesting choice. I won't say that it sounds like a great choice. But again, divisive. A lot of people say it's great. Reviews from Beyond Fest seem to be good overall. Not obviously as good as New York Ninja, but still good. All right, now we are getting into the final Vinegar Syndrome release of the month, and that is for the Peakorama line. This is Anyone But My Husband and Sweet Pumpkin double feature from 1975 and 1976 by Roberta Finlay. And this is the cover for Anyone But My Husband. Flip it around, and you get the cover for Sweet Pumpkin. I dig these colors. Looks really nice together. Reminder for those of you that were completionist subscribers for last year, you are getting this one for free in January. This is they were one short on the completion subscriber promises last year, so this is coming to us for free at the end of the month. And then after that, none of the Peakorama titles will be in the Vinegar Syndrome subscription, which that seems to have been leading in that direction for the last couple of years. So that makes sense. Eric got Flesh for Frankenstein, ordered New York Ninja with his Flesh for Frankenstein $6 coupon. I got caught up in posting all the announcements. I forgot we had a coupon, so I didn't even use mine. I got to use it before it expires, though. So on these two, Nora Pelham wants her husband to make love to her, but he's not interested. After discovering his lack of enthusiasm is the result of an affair, Nora decides that what he can do, she can do better. So, with the help of her friend Sylvia, Nora starts seeking out a variety of strange and outrageous sexual experiences. One of the most successful films of Roberta's early career, Anyone But My Husband, is a charming comedy of bad manners which stars C.J. Lang, Jennifer Jordan, Robert Kerman, Eric Edwards, and many other familiar faces from New York's sex film scene. This one sounds like a really good Picorama title, one I'm genuinely interested in seeing. The second half of the double feature is Sweet Pumpkin, and this says Pumpkin, a former sex film starlet turned maid to rich old Mr. Creamsmith, marries her employer, only to discover that, try as she might to fit in, his old money cronies still view her as nothing more than the help. A delicious send up of class dynamics, Sweet Pumpkin, I Love You offers screwball comedy and scorching sex and heaping helpings, and features Crystal Sink, Marlene Willoughby, Jennifer Jordan, John Holmes, Eric Edwards, plus C.J. Lang as Pumpkin. And obviously, C.J. Lang on both of these titles are going to be the big tie-in other than Roberta Finlay. This is region-free, newly scanned, restored, in 2K from the 35 OCNs. Commentary track with Roberta Finlay for Anyone But My Husband, moderated by Casey Scott. And that seems to be it. It's Peakorama. You know what that means. Not terrible, not, groundbreaking, but it's more titles, and I'll always be down with that. But this is where it gets real interesting for me, because Vinegar Syndrome has a good month, but then we get into the partner labels, which I'll guess after the merch. A lot of these are sold out because they sold out literally within like 2 hours. We got New York Ninja vinyl, a New York Ninja enamel pin, New York Ninja VHS. There's the back of that. This is the enamel pin, and then a VS family portrait tee, which they have released this T-shirt before in a black and white variant on a cream color shirt, and the colors on this are crazy, super interesting. I'm glad they did it. Looks nice in my opinion. And then there's a print for the Scary of 61st, which I got to admit, it looks pretty nice. This is a nice print in my it kind of fits my taste really well. More than the movie sounds like it will, to be honest. I like the art style on this. Okay, now we break into the partner labels. But, Sardis. Sardis says commentary on an adult film. If you have never gotten any of the Vinegar Syndrome adult films, there are commentaries on many of them, and they are very hit or miss. Some are great. Some are, your classic awful commentary. Like, I remember being here. Oh, yeah, I remember when she filmed that. I remember what she was like. Yeah, it's not great. Some are really good, though. There is a good one on... obviously, Sex World has some good stuff on it. What is it? Summer Camp Girls, I think, had a good commentary. I might be mixing that up in my mind. It's hard to see the titles from afar. And the lighting's not great on the other side of the room right now, of course. I agree, John. Back-to-back, great partner label months. But what's crazy, we even got more partner labels in the month of January. We talked, I think it was in December, but we definitely talked in November around Black Friday too, that it was overwhelming, the number of partner labels. And to mitigate that, they added more. This is getting crazy. So, brand new partner label, which we kind of, I think, knew that this was coming. Deaf Crocodile. They kind of splashed onto the screen because they've been working on a 4K restoration of Assault on Precinct 13. Now, don't go reading into what I just said. Not that it's coming to disc or necessarily anything like that, but they've been working on that so that they could show it in theaters. And that was their big, we are here, we are doing something incredible. Please understand that we are serious about our job type of start as a label. And they had not put anything out on disc yet. And this is the first title that they are putting out. And to me, The Unknown Man of Shandigor, I believe is how it's said, sounds like it is going to be one of the best partner label titles released yet. So let's go into this. This is from Deaf Crocodile, their first partner label release with Vinegar Syndrome, and I believe their first release as a company at all. Swiss director Jean-Louis Roy's long-lost mid-1960s Cold War super spy thriller, that was a lot of words, is a marvelous and surreal hall of mirrors, part Doctor Strangelove, part Alphaville, with sly nods to British TV shows like The Avengers and Doctor Who. Interesting. The film stars a who's who of great 60s character actors, starting with the unforgettable Daniel Emilfork as crazed scientist Herbert von Kranz, who's invented a device to sterilize all nuclear weapons. That could have taken a weird turn at the end of that sentence. A mad herd of rival spies are desperate to get their hands on the device, including legendary French singer Serge Gainsbourg as the leader of a sect of bald, turtleneck-wearing assassins, and Jess Franco vet Howard Vernon. Gainsbourg's deranged jazz lounge group, Bye Bye Mr. Spy. Oh, sorry, that's the name of the song. Jazz lounge song, Bye Bye Mr. Spy, performed by him on a funeral parlor organ, no less, is arguably the film's high point. An accomplished spy is at the same time psychologist, artist, funambulist, conjurer, to quote one of the characters, and the same could be said of Roy's exotic camera obscura, a black and white Cold War paranoia, with Marie Franck Boyer. This is Region A locked with a new 4K scan of the OCN 35mm and sound elements by Cinematheque Suisse, with additional digital restoration by Craig Roger of Deaf Crocodile. Now, just to add to this awesome release, new commentary by one of my favorites, Sam Deegan, booklet essay by filmmaker, punk musician, and poet, and genre expert Chris D. New interview with Francois Roy, wife of director Jean-Louis Roy, and Michael Schopfer, first assistant director on The Unknown Man of Shandagore. This is 17 minutes long. And then there is an ultra-rare 1967 making-of doc from Swiss TV's Cinema VIF show, featuring interviews from everybody there and behind-the-scenes footage, 28 minutes long, which is really cool that we're getting that. This is awesome. Yes, Sardis, it is black and white. Flex, we did stream on Tuesday, and we have our own Discovering Cinema channel, and it is there linked on my channel. And it is, if you go back in the community post, I did post about it on Tuesday, so you can get it linked on there. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to that other channel. Jeff is a big fan of black and white as well. Awesome. John says, I'll admit this didn't look that good in the trailer, but Sam Deegan did a commentary. Her and I agree on almost everything. What was it called again? I know I'm subscribed. Discovering Cinema. Discovering Cinema. And that is it for the extras, but this is the front of the slip. Looks really good. I love how they kind of kept that black and white style with the red highlights here. And to me, these look to be embossed on the titles, which I always love when they do that. And then the back of this, it kind of feels like that good side versus evil side. And I'm digging this slip. This is a release that looks great for me. I cannot wait to have this one in hand. And that is from Deaf Crocodile, like I said. This is going to be one to watch. Now, I said we don't know for sure that they're going to be putting out Assault on Precinct 13, but that would be incredible for a partner label to get a 4K release of a John Carpenter title. And as far as I'm aware, that would be a worldwide exclusive, because I don't think anyone else is working on a 4K of Assault on Precinct 13. And I love that movie. When I was younger, for some reason, I did not like Assault very much. And then about, probably 5 years ago now, somewhere like that, 4 or 5 years ago, I watched it in a triple bill in a cinema with, what else was it with? Prince of Darkness, I believe. Oh, yeah, and then the last one was In the Mouth of Madness. And I just fell in love with those three in a whole new way. I mean, first of all, Prince of Darkness, it was always cheesy to me for some reason, but then seeing it on the big screen with a whole bunch of people that loved Carpenter and appreciated it, seeing Alice Cooper and the bright green that flows through that whole film, it is so good. And man, this really got me, John. I still, to this day, since that screening, I play the Assault on Precinct 13 score probably once or twice a month at least. I love it. Sardis, yes. If you mix pre-order on Vinegar Syndrome with regular orders, it does delay shipping, but this is a pre-order for the end of the month, so it should be shipping within 2.5 weeks at most. Flex says, when I miss the streams, I search for it on Flip's channel. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not on Flip's channel, not on mine anymore. Yeah, Prince and Madness. It was a really great 1, 2, 3 punch that evening. Following up Assault, which is kind of action packed and kind of talky. With, I mean, obviously it's Carpenters; they all have a lot of dialogue. But following that with Prince and then Madness to cap off the night, it was such a great time. That was a wonderful, wonderful theater experience. What's up, Video Store? We are just going through the partner labels. Just started actually. Let me go to the second release of the month. And this is from probably the most controversial partner label so far. Did I miss one? I feel like okay. A lot of people are not down with Saturn's Core for some reason, but they are putting out Sinister from 1995. And Saturn's Core, as usual, is dealing with the shot on video types, the more, the wave film, stuff like that so far. This is the front, which really cool cover. And then this is the back, which is a little less sinister, but a little more realistic, probably. Okay, so this one, like I said, from 1995, 3 petty criminals attempt a botched armed robbery. It's kind of oddly written. I don't think they attempted to botch an armed robbery. That armed robbery culminates in a bloody shootout, leaving only the getaway driver, Simon, unscathed. The wounded felons decide to hole up in an isolated abandoned house deep within the forest while awaiting a rendezvous with their co-conspirator, Lisa. After burying one of his deceased accomplices in the backyard, Simon is eerily haunted by images of violence and horror from his lamentable past. Aroused by the spilling of fresh blood, a spectral axe-wielding psychopath and his undead minions mysteriously materialize, inflicting incessant physical and psychological torture upon Simon and his gang throughout the night in a malevolent attempt to possess their corrupted souls for eternity. Man, I gotta say, whoever wrote this copy, they should really spell check it and edit it, because there's like 5 mistakes just in this first paragraph. Anyways, I won't beleaguer that to death. This is region free. I believe all of the Saturn's Core titles have been so far, because they're dealing straight with the filmmakers and the rights holders, and they're all the shot on video types. So they've been really amenable to making them region free. This is a newly restored director's final cut, which is 73 minutes. Got an audio commentary with the director and editor Ronnie Sorter. 2 isolated audio tracks featuring music by the composers Larry Simmons and Clark Carter. The original, there's another mistake, alternate instead of alterate. 1997 Sinister cut, which is 71 minutes, featuring a new optional retrospective commentary with the director. Archival cast commentary with the director and writer-producer Todd Reynolds and the actor Dan Skinner. Archival audio commentary with the special effects artist. And then new behind-the-scenes featurette, behind the scenes of the final cut shoot, interview with the composer, before and after comparison, 1994 TV new coverage, outtake reel, a short film by the director with optional commentary, behind the scenes of that short film. And these are just loaded because they are smaller files on these. But yeah, they are great. John says he ordered it. Nice. He likes Savage Harvest. What's going on, nerd? Glad you're here. Looks like the tall man from Phantasm. Yeah, a little bit. Mass says, is Diabolic a good label to order from? How are they at shipping out box sets without damage? They are incredible. I have this box is from them. They do really good work. Everything inside gets bubble wrapped no matter what. And then on top of that, if something does get damaged, they'll replace it for you. Jesse Nelson is the one that is in charge of Diabolic, and he has some of the best customer service in the industry. Everybody loves him. Although I got to be honest, I love Diabolic, but Orbit DVD is replacing them as my go-to right now. And I still have some titles pre-ordered at Diabolic, but Orbit is getting right now probably 2 or 3 orders a week for me. They have been awesome. Super fast shipping, really good stuff. Diabolic and Orbit are the top two in my opinion by a long shot. Grindhouse Video is also really good. And now that he's closer to me, he actually might be moving up in the ranks. His prices are just a little out of whack for me sometimes. But yeah, all three of those are great if you are interested in buying from one of them. And those three, they are just they are retailers. They're not necessarily labels like you asked there. Dave says, "Where is Diabolic based?" I believe when I get labels from Diabolic, they are from Philadelphia or somewhere in Pennsylvania. John just got Toolbox Murderers 4K from Orbit. Nice. Again, I had that one pre-ordered from Diabolic, unfortunately, so I don't have that one yet. Eric says, Orbit is awesome. The only problem is no pre-orders or back orders. Yes. If they did pre-orders, I would switch everything over to Orbit, like, immediately. Mitchell says, watched most of Toolbox Killer today. Your Vice is a locked room and only I have the key. Was your rewatch Eyes Without a Face and the awful Dr. Orloff. That, I mean, Toolbox Murders and Your Vice is, thinking about that, that's probably a really good double feature, actually. Interesting. Ryan says, why are all the physical media places on the East Coast? Well, not all. Oh, Eric, you're right. Diabolic is in New Jersey, but they have something located in Pennsylvania. They do ship from two locations sometimes. Not sure why. Why are all the physical media places on the East Coast? They're not all on the East Coast. I will say Vinegar Syndrome, since we're looking at partner labels right now, they also have a distribution center in Colorado now. I'm not sure why they're all on the East Coast. It might be tax reasons. That's where they're all from. Yeah, they're no clue why. I knew what you meant, Mitchell. It's Mace, short for Mason. Thanks for the info. Yeah, Orbit DVD is great, and it's just orbitdvd.com. And the big thing about Orbit is if you buy from them, get 3 titles and then use the promo code, the number 3 and the word free, no space in between, and you get free shipping, no matter what, just as long as you get 3 items, as long as they're media mail shipping possible. So if you get books, movies, if you get 4Ks, anything like that, you will jump in there and get free shipping for anything with at least 3 titles. Pennsylvania is the main hub. Well, I've noticed he's got 2 different labels sometimes with like 2 different origin addresses. I'm not sure. I know he's got family that helps him sometimes. Maybe that could be why. All right. Sardis says Mafia ask Flip. Oh, I get what you're saying now. Beta, what's going on? Good to see you. All right, I have left this picture up on the screen too long without bringing it up. Partner label Utopia, which is one of my favorites. Again, I've brought them up a lot recently, and for good reason. I adore Utopia. They do some really great work, but they don't always make the best choices. A lot of their movies are very hit or miss. I've not gotten to the one from December yet, but that one didn't seem like a hit for me. I will say that. This is El Planeta from 2021. Amidst the devastation of post-crisis Spain, a mother and daughter bluff and grift to fund their extravagant daily life with impending eviction never too far from sight. That sounds much more intriguing than what they put out in December. Here is the back of it. This is the mother and daughter pair. And yeah, this one genuinely looks really good. I'm curious about this one. Yes, Severin is in Arizona. I think specifically, let's see, who asked this? Ryan said, why are all the physical media places on the East Coast? So maybe that. Severin is in Arizona, but not all of the labels are on the East Coast. So like Mondo Macabro, I believe he's in Seattle or Washington. Oh, yeah, there you go. Ryan right there said it. Yeah, Mondo's in Seattle. Scream Factory's out of Southern California, but they ship out of Kentucky. Another skip for John on this one. And the next title, this is an interesting one, especially if you notice who the director is. So this is from 1982, and this is from Altered Innocence. And the title on this one is Pals. and the original Spanish title is Colegas. So from 1982, three teenagers living in a Spanish suburb find themselves in a whole world of trouble when one of them, Rosario, gets pregnant and doesn't have the money for an abortion. Her brother Antonio and her lover Jose fail to find legitimate work to raise the cash and turn to petty crime. They find themselves in a series of misadventures and encounters with grimy criminals in their effort. Luckily, they've got each other. This is a classic kinky troublemaker cinema film from Eloy de la Iglesia, starring real-life siblings Antonio and Rosario Gonzalez, as well as his regular leading man, Jose Luis Manzano. Eloy de la Iglesia got a couple titles released by Severin in 2021, and this is interesting. So they are very, think of like the Warriors from the U.S. Titles kind of like that. They're not nearly as crazy because of a lot of the Spanish laws around then. For example, I don't really necessarily want to spoil the film, but Severin put out a film last year that was on the Video Nasties list, and one of the laws in Spain at the time is basically the killer can't get away with anything, and they have to come to justice. So at the end of one of the films that Severin put out last year, the killer literally calls the police and turns himself in. It was just one of the morality laws that Spain had. This is the front of the slipcover for Eloy de la Iglesia's Pals. Here is the back, just the plain nipple. Bold cover here. But yeah, this is also a bare bones release. There is nothing on here. The movie itself sounds intriguing, but he is a very decent and competent director. John says, kinky craziness with no extras, but pair this with Severin's Kinky Collection from last August. Eloy de la Iglesia is certainly one to appreciate. I will give them that. I just wish there were some extras on here. All right. The other big, in my opinion at least, partner label title other than The Man of Shandagore that is coming out is Morvern Calar. This is a Lynn Ramsey film coming from possibly the best partner label, Fun City Editions. Now, this is from 2002, and the art on this slip is just amazing. This is a really well done slip on the front. Here is the back. The juxtaposing colors on here are great, and I just can't wait to have this one and watch it. Samantha Morton is mesmerizing and gives the female performance of the year as the enigmatic Morvern Calar and filmmaker Lynn Ramsey's highly acclaimed and remarkably assured second feature based on Alan Warner's lauded debut novel. When Morvern Calar wakes up one Christmas morning to discover her boyfriend dead by suicide, it's the start of an unpredictable and unconventional process of self-transformation. Morvern's form of grieving will be bewildering and shocking to most. She keeps her boyfriend's death a secret. She passes off his just-finished novel as her own to publishers. She goes on holiday to Spain. Equal parts road movie and character study, Morvern Calar is as gripping and beautiful as it is dark and inscrutable. I mean, this sounds astounding. I have seen this a long time ago, and the copy on this is written so perfectly. It has been a very long time. I think the last time I saw this was probably 2005-ish, I want to say. 2005 or 6. This is region-free, newly scanned in 2K from the 35 interpositive. And just like I mentioned earlier, this gets a audio commentary with Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson. There's a new video essay by Chris O'Neill, a booklet with essays, stills, and cast crew information, and then the trailers and the original artwork. Lynn Ramsey is just an astounding filmmaker. I can't remember. Obviously, I've seen We Need to Talk About Kevin, and I've seen this, but this is just one of those titles that is going to get more attention for partner labels, and I'm so grateful for that, because this is the type of film that a lot of people, especially in 2021, just have never seen, because these are great. Yeah, not much else can be said about this. Let me see what some of these comments are saying. Eric saw Morvern Callar at the Chicago International Film Festival. I'm going to assume in 2002 with Lynn Ramsey in person. That is awesome. Eric, you have so many great stories. John says, I haven't felt these felt these recent Fun City editions, and I'm mad because I love their first 5 titles. Kind of surprising. I thought you would have liked them. Video Store says, Morvern Callar, such a great film. What a soundtrack. This is a good one. And if you have not looked into this, try to watch the trailer, see if it's at least your style. It's a bit different than We Need to Talk About Kevin, but obviously it's still going to be a dark film, and there's some interesting things in it for sure. But don't worry, we are still not done with partner labels. I said we were going to talk about them for about 25 minutes, and yeah, it's probably been a little longer. Oh, you're complex. I'm sorry, John. Sorry. Antoine says, I have the Palm Picture DVD. Interesting. Nice. I've not seen a DVD of that in a very long time. And also, welcome. I don't think I've seen you in the comments before. Thanks for showing up. Glad to have you. From AGFA, and of course, working with, I believe this is, who is working with them on this one? Is it Bleeding Skull? I don't know. From AGFA, The Monster of Camp Sunshine and Honeymoon of Terror. Gotta love the slipcover. It looks really good. And I gotta be honest, I don't love the cover color yellow, but for some reason, I love when some of these titles have yellow slipcovers. They jump off the background. I mean, you can see, whoops, went the wrong way. That Giallo cover right there. It just makes your eye go right to it. Love when they have yellow slipcovers like this. So this one, The Monster of Camp Sunshine, shot by anonymous maniacs in New York. This is a trash art berserker that feels like what would happen if a 1980s slasher was teleported inside of a 1960s nudist film. A nurse and fashion model head to Camp Sunshine for a weekend of fun, sun, and cigarettes. But little do they know that Hugo, the camp's gardener, has been transformed into an axe-wielding psychopath after drinking radioactive water. All right. Combining experimental visuals with camp flair, this is a crackpot time capsule featuring Monty Python-esque animation, someone named Ron Cheney Jr., and at the end, a brief summary of the movie for those who wish to relive its magic moments. The classic AGFA. I got to admit, I love the back of this slip. This is such a great release. It's something weird. Thanks, Antoine. Appreciate that. Darren, glad to have you. Good morning. I like Samantha Morton. She's from Nottingham. Nice. Future Boy says, if you had guessed how much would the Hitcher going for from Second Sight? Hey, what's going on, Future Boy? That depends on a few things. It's going to be 4K. I am willing to bet that retail on that is probably going to be about $50 US. The guest was 60 US because they had the soundtrack in that. If they are able to do everything in a way that they're able to save a little more money, I could see it going down to about 40 on the cheapest side, but it's a big title, so probably not. I'm betting it's probably going to be 45 or 50. They had to work directly with Warner and HBO on this, so probably about $50 US. Hoping that comes sooner than later, but since they just found that, I'm willing to bet that that's going to be probably an October title at the very earliest. So that was The Monster of Camp Sunshine. And then we have Honeymoon of Terror, an early dreamscape from director Peter Perry. Honeymoon of Terror is a moody mashup of horror, chills, and nudie thrills that feels like a Looney Tunes cartoon made for adults. Doesn't that just scream awesome? Frank and Marion are newlyweds who embark on their honeymoon to Thunder Island, only to run afoul of a psychotic, club-footed lumberjack with a lust for violence. Now, I don't know why, but it seems like a lot of the titles this week are very horny. And when there's an announcement that we're going to be talking in a minute with the word vibrator in the title, it has been a very horny week of announcements. And I'm all right with that. So this AGFA is amazing, by the way. I don't need to just continue talking them up. They are top-notch. They were the first partner label, and they put out 12 or 13, something like that. A large number of titles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. like 15 titles before they were a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome. They have a wide backlog. They are a great company. Like I've said before, you can even, set your Amazon to support them when you shop on Amazon because AGFA is a non-profit. So support AGFA with everything you do. Special features on this are just like all of the other AGFA titles, which means they are great. So this is region free, has 2K restorations from the original 35 for both films. There is nudie horror trailers from Hugo Shack. And then on top of all that, a bonus movie called All Men Are Apes from 1965. That's just over an hour long, transferred from the original Something Weird SVHS master. And then English subs, of course. But this is The Monster of Camp Sunshine and Honeymoon of Terror with a bonus third feature. If Warner has the Hitcher negative, wouldn't that be a Warner Archive title? No. The original rights holder was HBO, actually, and HBO is owned by Warner. And Warner gave Second Sight permission to go look through some of their archives, and they happened to stumble upon the original film elements for this, which, not for this, obviously, but for the Hitcher, which surprised everybody. Nobody thought they were going to find it, and I guarantee when Warner gave them permission, they probably were like, right, go look. No big, you're not going to find it. Trust me. And then they went and did. And now they're going to be giving us a glorious 4K of the Hitcher, which is just astounding. I mean, everybody has been complaining and dying for the Hitcher literally for years, and we will finally have a good release. I'm so excited. Eric says, if the Hitcher and Martin come out this year, Second Sight will have a great year. Yes, and then don't forget, they also have 4K of Dog Soldiers coming, which they haven't talked about much recently. That should blow the Scream Factory release out of the water, because that Scream Factory release is, speaking of dog, it's dog shit. It is absolutely awful. Flickering says, now I know why I didn't read much about the Vinegar Syndrome announcements. I'm thinking about my wallet getting lighter. Yeah, there is a lot here. Moving along, we are not done yet. And this one doesn't sound super exciting to me, but let's get into it. This is from Yellow Veil Pictures. This is 2014's The Midnight Swim. Spirit Lake is unusually deep. No diver has ever managed to find the bottom, though many have tried. When Dr. Amelia Brooks disappears during a deep water dive, her three daughters travel home to settle her affairs. But when the half-sisters jokingly summon a local ghost, their relationship begins to unravel, and they find themselves drawn deeper into the mysteries of the lake. My question for the group here, has anybody seen this? It's a 2014 title. I never heard this come out. It is called The Midnight Swim. I'd love to know anybody's opinions on this. The trailer did not capture me. It's not one that made me say, I absolutely have to have this. The art is decent enough, but obviously that's not going to sell a movie necessarily. It says, death is not what you think on the reverse of the slip. This has a commentary from the cast and crew, featurette, two shorts, and then a trailer and some essays. It's not bare bones at all. Yellow Veil is good. They've put out some other good stuff, but this is one that it just didn't grab me. And that's okay. That's okay. They won't all grab you, of course. And no comments about if somebody's seen it, so I'm going to guess probably not. And of course, I had to do it every week. Had to do it again. From Dark Star Pictures, I believe this is their second release as a partner label under Vinegar Syndrome. This is Coco Di Coco Da. This is from 2019, and from everything I've heard, this is an incredible movie. And the trailer, it makes it look really good. So if you are any way interested in this, give the trailer a watch. Consider picking this one up this month too. Ellen and Tobias are a happily married couple who regularly vacation with their young daughter. The family is on a dreamy holiday when an innocuous case of food poisoning derails their plans and forever alters the course of their lives. 3 years later, the once loving couple is on the road again to go camping, looking for one last chance to go back to the way things used to be. But what once was lost, man, is their copy messed up again, or am I dumb right now? But what once was is lost. Anyways, I can't speak. But what once was is lost, and our characters instead find themselves having to relive the same nightmarish events as that day, and the horrors it brings repeat themselves infinitely. Together, they must overcome their trauma, reconcile with their past, and fight for their lives over and over and over again. So this sounds great, first of all. Here is the back of the slip, and it is, I think it's a Swedish film, if I'm remembering right. I can't remember what country it originates in. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. I think it's somewhere over there, at least. It comes with a commentary with the director and lead actor, behind the scenes, deleted scenes, 2 short films, which I love getting short films on here. And it is a pretty stacked release. Loving this, love the slip, love the style of the art on here. Both sides, vastly different, but they work really well together. I am digging this one. Eric is asking, does the 50% off MSRP for partner labels for VS subscribers apply for all 2022 titles until the end of the year? Yes. So if you want this one and you're a sub for 2022, but you don't want it yet because you're, short the $25 or whatever, you can get this again with the 50% off in October. Now, the only time that gets to where it is dangerous is in December, because if they announce something on December 1st and you have that discount, it goes away when the store goes down at the end of the month. Now, for December 2021, that meant December, 29th, I think it went down. So people that were waiting for those last couple of days, they lost out. And then when it came back up on 2022, you don't have a discount anymore. So if you want it, make sure you remember to get it. Chris, what's going on? Chris is here. Coco D looks trippy as hell, and after loving The Last Matinee, I'll give it a shot. Everybody has been talking about The Last Matinee for a while. Antoine says it's amazing. Obviously, Arrow just put that out as well. Does The Scary of 61st come with an audio commentary from Prince Andrew? Thankfully, no. That would have been a really expensive release if it did. I guarantee that. All right, another big title from the announcements this month is Killing Spree. This is a Tim Ritter directed film that already had a Blu release from Sub Rosa Studios, or SRS Cinema, who, by the way, SRS Cinema is having a sale right now. And some of their titles that have not been available on Blu-ray are available again on Blu-ray. So if you are looking for that, I posted the link to it on the Facebook account for Disconnected. I'm not sure if I posted it elsewhere. I'll take a look at that. I might have to repost it. But I actually put in an order with SRS tonight, and I usually don't. So if any titles from them have interested you, it might be a good time. And some of them are selling pretty quickly. So Killing Spree, this is from 1987, and this is coming from TerrorVision. Here is the front of the slip, and here is the back. And that quote, "They're all dead, or are they?" This is what I will say is a pretty wild movie. Sardis is asking, what kind of films do they sell? This is going to be a hard question to answer. SRS Cinema sells everything from old shot-on-video horror to modern shot on those DV discs, really awful sleazy gore pictures from Germany that are 55 minutes long, and they show somebody being killed by a hammer or something, but you can tell all of it is fake because it's just so poorly made. But then they sell some really intriguing titles. They sell comedies from I think they put out a comedy from Switzerland or something like that a couple years ago. They surprisingly have done a lot of kaiju films. They do a lot of Asian films. They are the ones that put out The Legend of the Stardust Brothers in the US, which is a title that Third Window Films got in the UK. They do quite a few of those Asian type films. They do a lot of titles. They are ran by somebody named Ron Bonk, and it seems to be just him. Now, most of their stuff does come on burned Blu-rays, but they are all legit titles. It's not like bootlegs or anything like that. He's got licenses. He's just not getting large pressings on them. It's similar to Gold Ninja Video. But these are not, what is the phrase I'm trying to remember? Public domain. These are not public domain films that Sub Rosa Cinema puts out or Sub Rosa Studios, and they are only known as SRS Cinema now. I'm still used to calling them Sub Rosa Studios from like 5 years ago. So let's get into Killing Spree. This has a very famous cover art that was on the SRS Cinema release. And Tim Ritter, I believe this is a pretty early title from him. And it is bonkers. And from what he is saying, because he's pretty active in like SRS, Sardis, I don't remember the phonetic alphabet. S is in Sam, R is in Robert, S is in Sam. Sub Rosa Studios, SRS. And now it's SRS Cinema. Killing Spree is wild. It is a bloody movie. Get into synopsis here. Newlywed Tom Russo suspects his guy. This has all kinds of copy errors in it too. What is going on? Newlywed, which should be one word probably. Tom Russo suspects his hot wife, got wife. Do I need glasses? Lisa is having sexual, I'm assuming, encounters with their suburban neighbors and visitors. Tom retaliates, that's not spelled right either, by launching a methodical and inventive. Oh man, this is bad. And this is, by the way, this is copied and pasted from the Vinegar Syndrome site to here. Whew. Utilizing, an inventive campaign to murder the lovers, utilizing such unexpected devices as a killer ceiling fan, a TV set, an ordinary screwdriver, a hammer, and a lawnmower. But Tom's victims don't lie buried peacefully in his backyard. They're coming back from the dead for everyone. That was a slog. Oh, man. So this was shot on video, I believe. Or no, I think back in the day, it was shot on film. And that's what I was saying. So Tim is active in a few of the Facebook groups. And when they announced this, he was in there commenting because people had some questions. If this was the same cut as the SRS Cinema release, they asked if this was a new scan, because if they already had it, they don't want to buy it again. Tim did confirm this is a brand new scan, and this is the most complete release that we are going to be able to have. Now, he did say they did shoot a longer version, but the original elements have gone missing, and he believes they will never be found. And unfortunately, in 1987, a lot of like indie directors, indie developers, indie producers, they were not storing film to be able to last till 2021 because they didn't have the money for it. That being said, this has an audio commentary, brand new interviews, new stills gallery, a new documentary, trailer, Blinded by the Blood, an old commentary, trailers, radio promo. Yeah, this is going to be a stacked disc, and this is coming, like I said, from TerrorVision. This is the one that Brad Henderson put on here. Brad Henderson, who's a part of Vinegar Syndrome, is now running TerrorVision, the Blu-ray side of it at least, with a partner. So this is going to be really, really good. Yeah, if you are interested in any of those old sleazy slasher type films, this is great. Dave says, looks like their copy editors are off with COVID. Is it short-handed? Could be. Maybe the misspellings are part of the high price. I could do their copy. I don't understand it. I definitely could have assisted. So we didn't just get one new partner label this time. Here is the second one. This is Girlfriend from Hell from 1989, coming from Culture Shock Releasing. Now, if you've been watching this channel all year, I have been staying pretty up to date with Culture Shock, and they've been doing really good work with a lot of their titles. Most of them have gotten new Blu-rays. I think 3 of them have gotten DVDs because they're shot on VHS or shot, basically, I think one of them was even shot on Betamax. They were shot in ways that it didn't make sense to put on a Blu-ray because they wouldn't look better. Girlfriend from Hell is a good release. This is one that you're going to want. Now, I'm going to talk about some interesting things with this, but let's go through the synopsis first. It's a blind date from hell when awkward Maggie gets possessed by the devil. In human form, she is free to feast on the souls of any men who cross her path, as long as she doesn't get caught by womanizer and interdimensional bounty hunter Chaser, featuring Leslie Deanne from Freddy's Dead as Maggie's best friend. This is from 1989. And this is Region A locked with a feature-length commentary with the director, interview with the producer, interview with the actors, Girlfriend from Hell music video featuring set photographs, still gallery, cast audition footage taken from the original VHS tape, remastered trailer from it, and then Culture Shock releasing trailers. This is the front of the slip, and this is the back of the slip. The devil made her do it, not that she minded. This is one I will certainly recommend. This is a fun movie. And the only thing I will say is if you are interested in staying with Culture Shock releasing, they are a partner label now. So they are getting this limited slip release if you buy it through Vinegar Syndrome. But over on their site, they have a package where you get this, and you also have a handful of enamel pins that you can get from them. And their pins are really good. They're very on par with like Severance pins, quality-wise. They're really good. Let's see. John grabbed this. Good. Darren says, sorry, Ryan, Coco D, Coco Da is a Swedish film. It is from a nursery rhyme in Scandinavia. Our rooster's dead. Our rooster's dead. It can no longer sing Coco D, Coco Da. Did I say Sweden? Or did I say Switzerland? I don't remember. Either way, thanks for confirming. That is good to know. Eric says, the mathematical model for Vinegar Syndrome partner label completist predicts bankruptcy by mid-year. At the very least, especially if they're going to be putting out 9 or 13 titles a month or whatever. This is crazy. And to be adding, I think we are over 20 partner labels at this point. Not only do we get those two, let's add a third new partner label for the month, and that one is Canadian International Pictures. Now, from what I've heard, this is a very promising partner label for some really important Canadian films that may be coming this year. I've heard a couple of rumors, but hopefully we get some of those confirmed here soon. This is for The Ernie Game from 1967, and I love this slipcover. This is so well done. This is the front, and this is the back. Just semi-crudely drawn, but way better than I could ever draw. Really love the colors. This just really artistic. I dig it. So this one, like I said, from 1967. Following a mysterious stay in a psychiatric hospital, Ernie Turner decides to pursue his destiny as a writer. Hungry for inspiration and human contact, he ventures into the vibrant streets of 60s Montreal, establishes a conflicted romance with Donna, and reunites with his frustrated ex, Gail. Unable to reconcile the pieces of his fragmented existence or make any progress on the literary front, Ernie begins a new descent into madness with shocking results. The big important part of this, so I read that and I was like, all right, it sounds cool. I think I've heard of the Ernie Game before. But then this next paragraph is where it gets amazing. This release also features 4 of Owen's earlier films, including notes for a film about Donna and Gail, which introduces 2 of the Ernie Game's central characters, and a remastered presentation of the landmark documentary, Ladies and Gentlemen, Mr. Leonard Cohen. This is one of the most stacked releases that have come from the Vinegar Syndrome website ever. I cannot wait to see this. Justin DeClue, who I have been admiring for quite some time, I just mentioned Golden Ninja Video. He is the man, the myth, and the legend behind it. He, just like John says here, has been raving about this release and movie. And Justin is from Toronto. He lives there now. I have heard some of the titles that he is thinking may be coming from these guys, and it sounds like we have a lot of stuff that is going to be on the slate from them that is going to be super important for Canadian historical, Canadian film. What is the right way to say that? Canadian film history standards. Woo! It's been a long day, folks. Eric says, I just remember Alex Canner from a couple episodes of The Prisoner. And Sardis is fixing to order The Prisoner next month from Network. Nice. So yeah, this is region free. Comes with the booklet. Comes with all the short films. 14 minutes. High Steel, Ladies and Gentlemen, Mr. Leonard Cohen is 44 minutes. Notes for a film about Donna and Gail is 49 minutes. A Further Glimpse of Joy is 28 minutes. And Cosmic Zoom is 8 minutes. This is This is a peek into somebody's life work. I cannot wait to hold this and dive into it and just absorb all of it, because it is the exact kind of thing that I live to be able to experience. It's just an incredible release. I believe, yes, we are finally out of the Vinegar Syndrome and partner label releases. So now it feels like we're going to move on to the Kino Lorber releases. Coming soon from Kino, 3 Chuck Norris films with brand new 2K masters. We are getting Good Guys Wear Black from 78, A Force of One from 79, and The Octagon from 1980. Importantly, in some of the other co-stars, if you were looking for some interesting people for him to pair with, you got Jim Backus in Good Guys Wear Black. Clu Gallagher is in A Force of One. And then the big name in The Octagon for me is Lee Van Cleef himself. I got to be honest, I can't stand Chuck Norris, and I never have been able to. I will not be getting any of these. I'm just not. Oh, look at that. Sardis also said, hate Chuck Norris. I can't stand him. I've never been able to get behind like him and a couple of the, like, yeah, everybody knows I'm not a big fan of Clint Eastwood. I don't love some of the classic Western star. Yeah, I won't want to get into it because I'm not super negative on this a lot, but I just can't stand Chuck Norris. He just is the same person in every single film. I don't get the appeal. So I'm going to pass over these. I'm going to come back to this at the end. From Kino, a pair of incredible announcements. Eric says Invasion USA is one of Chuck's best, and it's out of print from Shout Factory. So if you find it, which on the SRS Cinema website, they're selling a copy of it for some reason right now for like $20. So if you want it, that's where you can get a copy of Invasion USA. 2 incredible announcements from Kino. They are getting Kubrick Films in 4K. I mean, how amazing is that? We are getting The Killing and Killer's Kiss both with brand new HBR Dolby Vision masters in 4K UHD. The Killing, obviously, is from 1956 with Sterling Hayden, Colleen Gray, Vince Edwards, blah, blah, blah. Whole bunch of people. Criterion had this previously, and that also included Killer's Kiss from 55, and they are going to be sold separately as 4K releases, getting some of their money in there, which is kind of surprising for me. I kind of thought that this was going to be a 2-pack, because The Killing, I guarantee, is going to sell a lot more copies than Killer's Kiss. But yeah, this is interesting. Lissa is also not a fan of Chuck. That's smart. I'm glad nobody else likes this. Eric, the rumor is Barry Lyndon is going to be coming from Criterion on 4K, and supposedly before the end of 2022. John says, suck it, Criterion. This is yet another MGM title coming in 4K. Sardis says, when did they start doing 4K? They started doing 4K in 2019, I believe. Or no, 2018, actually. I think 2018 had their first title, which was Hannibal. And then that was their only 4K for a long time. But now they've done Spaceballs. They've done Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They've done Silence of the Lambs. They've done... obviously, they're going to be doing the rest of the Dollars trilogy, but we've got the first one of those so far in 4K. We've got Misery in 4K from Kino. We've got a handful of others already announced and coming. Hard Target. That one has kind of come out and will be finishing coming out in February. What an odd way to say that. Force of One and Octagon had a UK Blue release from Anchor Bay. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I believe those are all the same rights holders, and that's why they're announcing them together. So that would make sense that they'd be the same in the UK. Yeah, Touch of Evil. That's another one coming from Kino, and I believe that's early February. And that's an Orson Welles. That's going to be a big seller for them. Big seller, guaranteed. All right. Speaking of Gold Ninja Video, I love that I get to announce a new title from them, because that doesn't happen very often. We are getting Metal Detector Maniac. Discs will start shipping the week of January 15th. This is going to be limited to 800 copies, and this is part of the Indiegogo sub package. So if you did subscribe during their fundraiser that was advertised on here, this is one of the titles that you will be getting as part of that. This says, see that man in the distance, the guy who has been using his metal detector to investigate the same patch of grass in this public park for over an hour? Is he a peaceful hobbyist searching for historical artifacts? Or is he some sort of devious maniac hiding in plain sight, waiting for an opportunity to prey upon the innocent? When Matt Farley and Tom Schizo, music professors currently on sabbatical, spot this man, they become immediately suspicious. Given Tom's highly sensitive vibe receptors, these suspicions carry significant weight. Fearing their sleepy bedroom community to be in jeopardy, our heroes have little choice but to reinvent themselves as citizen sleuths and dive headlong into a full investigation. The hair-raising secrets that they uncover must be seen to be believed. Now, as they are citizen sleuths, I love that the cover for this is completely hyped up to be just like one of the Hardy Boys covers. This is an awesome release. Everything Golden Ninja does is incredible, and let me show you why. This has all new and exclusive special features. There is a whole other new feature film on here called Heard She Got Married from 2021. A feature-length audio commentary track on both films by Matt Farley, Chris Roxburgh, and moderated by Justin DeClue of Golden Ninja Video. This has the making of Metal Detector Maniac, Metal Detector Maniac making music, the premiere of Metal Detector Maniac, deleted scenes, behind the scenes, an interview with Tom Scalzo and Chris Peterson, and liner notes by Justin's partner in crime, Will Sloan. So this is going to be awesome. Yes, they have been doing 800 copies since the Bruceploitation set. So I'm willing to bet that within a couple more releases, they're going to be able to get up to that sweet 1,000 where they're able to press their titles. Look at that. Dave said the same thing. It looks like an old Hardy Boys book. It is perfect. I love that they did this style when it's that type of mystery title. One title to order the shipping is going to run its cost up. Yes, but keep in mind, a few of us can band together and order at the same time. That way, we get some of these together and only pay for shipping once. Darren says, yawn. Come on. Got to support Golden Ninja Video. Speaking of SRS Cinema, I got a couple announcements from them this week. We are getting from 1993 Little Cory Gory. This is recaptured and remastered from the original 16mm elements. SRS has purchased lifetime rights to this cult classic, and we are giving it the release it finally deserves. Limited edition 300-unit run, unless they hit 200 sold within the first 2 weeks of sales, and then it's going to be expanded to a full 1,000-unit run. This is going to have a 2K scan of the original negative with original credits, which were redone on the last release, brand new director's commentary, brand new behind-the-scene featurette, original trailer, the SRS trailers, and more. And also, they announced some other titles too. Let's keep going. We are getting, I mentioned they do kaiju sometimes. We are getting Uktena, the Horned Monstrosity. This is a brand new kaiju made right in the USA, limited edition 300-unit run, unless they sell 200 in the first 2 weeks, and then it'll go to 1,000. This has trailers, making a monster reel, a blooper reel, a harmonica duet clip. I don't think I've ever heard that in special features before, so that's interesting. And then a third title, we are getting Silent but Deadly. And does that not just scream super high-class cinema to you? This is coming January 20th, a recent favorite, already headed for cult status. This hilarious killer mime movie will be limited to 100 units sold on its first ever Blu-ray release. Now, other than the Blu-ray, they will likely put this out on DVD if you're really wanting it. But if you really want that blue, get in there quickly. Chris says, Little Cory Gory is cool. It'd be a lot cooler with Chuck Norris in it. Hell no, it wouldn't. Hell no. But this was one of my most exciting things to read this week. Third Window Films, a company that I champion on here pretty much as often as I can. They are incredible. They are a very small label that have been feeling the pressure from economics over the last few years. And I just genuinely hope a lot of people go in here and support them. They do some incredible work. They put out, they saw Arrow and 88 Films and a couple others toying around with the initials and uh, hinting at titles. And Third Window said, you know what, screw it. Let's just show some of our upcoming releases for 2022. So in January, we're getting Hiruko the Goblin, which recently just came out from Mondo Macabro. In February, Crazy Thunder Road, which is a Mad Max type film. In March, we are getting Funky Forest, Warped Forest, which is also coming out from Air 4444 in the US. April, we're getting Zoki. In May, we are getting Onoda, 10,000 Nights in the Jungle. June or July, we're getting Summertime Machine Blues. August and September, a big one, we are getting Suicide Club. And then in October or November, we are getting another Nobuhiko Obayashi set. This one is going to be 4 films, including School in the Crosshairs, Girl of Time, Island Nearest Paradise, and His Motorbike, Her Island. I mean, so many of these are titles that people have been asking for a long time. Eric, I'm so glad you're here to see me talk about this a little bit because I know that this is your jam. Eric says, Warped Forest is huge for me. Summertime Machine Blues is a great comedy, and more Obayashi is always cool. I feel like Obayashi is finally getting his due for a lot of these. Speaking of Third Window, bought and watched One Cut of the Dead from them a couple months ago. Great stuff. Third Window killed it on that release. Darren asked if that is Tiny Tim. I do not believe it is. That would have been an interesting casting, that's for sure. So we talked about this a little while ago. The Hitcher. Second Sight said on New Year's Day, Happy New Year, everyone. And to kick off 2022, some very exciting news on The Hitcher. We tracked down the original camera negative. Thanks to Warner's archive team for allowing us success. We will be doing a full restoration for a 4K and Blu-ray release later this year. Later this year is promising, so that means it'll be 2022, and that will be great. Dave says, heard a lot of trouble with the Mad Max films on Blue. I think it was only one of them. It might have been 2, and it wasn't a lot of issues. There were some audio issues. Have the issues been fixed yet? I had heard that was going to be February that they were coming out. They haven't even announced the actual replacement program for those that bought them. I know that they pulled some of the releases elsewhere. Video Store, did you see Films at Home's first Physical Media Awards? I did. Again, I think I've said before on here, I'm not usually one to put down other creators, but I will say I think that was a waste of a almost 30-minute video. I think that was an awful, awful award show, to say the least. I don't think I agreed with any of the choices in there, but all that being said, he's got a ton of followers, so he must do something better than me. Kino Lorber just continues to kill it. From Howard Hawks and Rock Hudson is starring in this one. We are getting Man's Favorite Sport. This is from 1964, and it has a new commentary, which is more than most of the Criterion releases can say, a theatrical trailer, and optional subs. And this is one I know nothing about. I don't believe I've ever seen this, but it sounds interesting, at least. But Kino puts out so many titles that there's even more to talk about from them. We also got a surprise announcement from Scream Factory that they are putting out on the third day. This is an Argentinian horror film. While on a trip with her young son, Cecilia has a car accident. 3 days later, she finds herself wandering a lonely road with no sign of her child and no memory of what happened since the crash. Cecilia's desperate search for her son leads her on a wrenching and tumultuous journey to face off against a religious fanatic who holds the shocking key to it all. Now, I got to admit, Scream Factory, in my opinion, did not have a great 2021. Now, the last couple of years, they have put out a handful, at least, and a surprising number of not necessarily like super low budget or no budget, but definitely indie horror films from some foreign countries that were just out of nowhere. Like they put out Sputnik, they put out, they're putting out this, they put out Baskin a little while ago. There is a couple others that they put out, and so far, they have all been incredible. Way surprising. I am so glad that we're getting stuff from them. This is one I absolutely am looking forward to. It's probably not going to be amazing, but it's going to be something that is probably going to be at least better than most. For The Hitcher, Chris says, I've been waiting for this for so long. Discovered The Hitcher when I was younger on a secondhand DVD, and it didn't leave the DVD player for months. One of my favorite movies of all time. I agree. It's great. And I don't know how many people agree with this. I don't know if this is a hot take, but we really need the remake on Blu-ray as well. We really need a good release of the remake. It's not a terrible film. It's obviously not the original, but it's certainly not terrible. Ken says, man's favorite sport is one of Howard Hawks' last film, but pretty good. Pretty much a remake of his Bringing Up Baby. Yeah, that happened a lot back in the day. It's very interesting. Oh gosh, John, easily probably better than Malignant. Malignant was good. Come on. Next up, we got some steelbooks get announced this week. The Encanto 4K steelbook. Wow, I misspelled steelbook there. What's a steel boon? From Disney is now available to pre-order on Best Buy. Somebody's got to check the copy editor for disconnected, huh? I love the steelbook. The art on this is great, and that is because the art in the movie itself was amazing. This is a great movie. Disney has, in my opinion, been killing it over the last few releases that they've put out. This is great. Luca is great, although Luca was Pixar. And what was the one right before that? These are they are on a streak of some really good films, dating back to probably Moana again. And yeah, this is one that the music is incredible. Lin-Manuel Miranda did most of the music for this, if not all of it. And the voice acting was top notch on this. Definitely need to buy this one. I love this film. Watch this on, it was either Christmas or the day after Christmas with the family. Everybody loved it. Oh yeah, thanks, John. Raya and the Last Dragon. That was the last big one. I loved Raya and the Last Dragon. It was really good. Then another steelbook. This is another one of the Lionsgate steelbooks with the plastic sleeve that we're getting. This is for the 4K release of The Hurt Locker. Now, I'm glad we're getting more of the Lionsgate steelbooks. I'm glad it's in 4K. That being said, what is this art? Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. For anybody that has seen the film, are you seeing this? To me, this looks like Ludacris and Jeremy Renner starring in The Hurt Locker. I do not understand this. How weirdly the art is done on here. Let me see. I have not looked at this in quite some time. Hurt Locker. What year did that come out? 2008. Okay. So, I'll blow this up. Yeah, Hurt Locker came out in 2008, directed by Catherine Bigelow. That is supposed to be Anthony Mackie and Jeremy Renner. And yeah, that definitely looks like Ludacris to me. But maybe it looks better in hand. Who knows? I mentioned having a title with the word vibrator in it. Speaking of Eric's comment, enjoying things a bit too much, the Amityville Vibrator fully charged edition. I mentioned this on the show a couple months ago, and some people didn't believe me. And I told you that the director was going to be putting out a Blu-ray here soon, which is why I felt that I had to post this week so everybody could see that I was telling the truth. So the Amityville Vibrator, which is clearly in the Amityville canon. This is movie like 36 in the Amityville series now. This is available to order now from the director's Store Envy site. And the limited edition Amityville Vibrator Blu-ray. This features the original director's cut version of the film, an extended cut with 10 extra minutes, over an hour of behind-the-scenes footage, the director's cut version of his 2017 feature called Gay for Prey, The Erotic Adventures of Jesus Christ, his 2021 short film called Wraith, and more. There's over 5 hours of content on this Blu-ray, limited to 1,000 copies, and it is, I think, going for about $30 on his site. Here is the back and the spine, and he has them available for shipping now. I love that somebody commented, this movie gave me the opposite of a boner. I agree. The Hurt Locker is really good. It surprised me how much I liked it. But it's Catherine Bigelow. She's always been decent. So the Amityville vibrator. For God's sake, get off. Yeah, if this sort of thing interests you, it is. This is a weird one. Like, if you're into it, I think if you read the title and you go, I think I might want to watch that. This is for you. If you look on this and you say, what the fuck is this? Why would somebody make that movie? It is not for you. Please do not buy it. That is probably a direct quote there, John. All right, another Kino title. We are getting Rock Hudson in Strange Bedfellows. This comes with the new audio commentary by film historian Eddie Von Mueller and optional subs. This is from 65, 98 minutes, and screen great Rock Hudson and Italian bombshell Gina Lollobrigida are a estranged couple on the verge of a riotous reconciliation in this delightful comic confection. Carter Harrison is a high-powered company exec who needs to polish up his public image. When a PR expert tells him the answer lies in up his shaky marriage, Carter jets off to London to rekindle the affections of his fiery Italian wife, Toni, who is already planning her second marriage. But even as she begins to repeat the outrageously eccentric behaviors that split them up in the first place, Carter finds himself falling in love with the irresistible Toni all over again. This is directed by Melvin Frank and is a rollicking cinematic treat filled with slapstick antics and hilarious sight gags. What's going on, Skolder? Glad to have you. Yeah, everything in the Amityville house has to be haunted at some point. Even the vibrators. Speaking of Kino putting out 4K titles, we had this one announced previously, but now we have all the release details, and this looks fantastic. So we are getting a Billy Wilder version. I don't know why I said a Billy Wilder version. The Billy Wilder directed The Apartment in 4K with Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine and Fred McMurray. This is coming on March 8th, so very soon now. Special features on this one. On the 4K disc, we have a new commentary with Joseph McBride, author of Billy Wilder Dancing on the Edge, an audio commentary by film historian Bruce Block. And then on the Blu-ray disc, we get a new audio commentary by Joseph McBride, audio commentary by Bruce Block, Inside the Apartment documentary, Magic Time, The Art of Jack Lemmon, trailer and subs, and everything else that you would expect. This release is going to be great, and I can't wait to see this in 4K. Is that a double bill of Shaving Ryan's Privates? I hope not, because down below. Ken Carlson, hope the rumor about Spielberg's Duel coming to 4K is true. That sounds like it's going to be true. Everything I've heard is that is basically confirmed at this point. Future Boy says, some Olive films, for example, Firstborn, one of my favorite films of all time, has a bad transfer. Do they get re-released with better transfer? They do. Ticks from Olive just got a re-release from Vinegar Syndrome in 4K, and it looks incredible. The Ticks release from Olive, it was okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible, but it was only okay. It might not come from Olive because Olive seems to be doing nothing nowadays. I can't even remember what the last Olive title was. Sardis loves Shirley MacLaine. I mean, she's fantastic. Everybody should love Shirley MacLaine. Then from Cohen, we are getting Carol Kane in Hester Street. This is 1890s New York City film with Stephen Keats, Mel Howard, Dory Kavanaugh, and Doris Roberts. Cohen Media has not put out much recently, so I'm excited to see this. I'm glad they're still doing stuff. And now, of course, that's coming out distributed by Kino Lorber. And another Kino title, we are getting Farewell, directed by Robert Siodmak. I'm probably not saying that properly, but this is from 1930. This is one of the Kino classic titles, and obviously in black and white. Alternate happy ending is something that stood out to me on this one. That is Farewell. Another steelbook. We are getting The Green Mile in 4K in 2022, and this is now available to pre-order from Best Buy. Good-looking 4K steelbook, but to me, this is about a lot more than just the steelbook. I love this movie. this story, for some reason, has always been one that has hit me hard. I think I just watched this in a really formidable time in my life, and I can't wait to see this one again in 4K. I really hope the transfer on this one is golden because I love this movie. I love Tom Hanks. Michael Clark Duncan was incredible in it. Just so well done. I think overall, I really just love Frank Darabont. I love everything he's ever done, I believe. Ken is recommending Cohen's Jean-Paul Belmondo's double feature, The Man from Rio and Up to His Ears, the best action French films ever. I will add it to the list for sure. That sounds awesome. Coming from Code Red via Kino Lorber, we are getting Fast Charlie, the Moonbeam Rider. This was just announced today, I believe. This is with David Carradine, a brand new 2K master, new audio commentary by Eddie Von Mueller with a theatrical trailer and optional subs. This one also, by the way, has Terry Kaiser in it, and it's a Roger Corman produced film. Kino is not done, though. If you've been watching the show, like says, Green Mile is my favorite rap movie. I love that. If you've been watching the show with Flip, he has been talking about Gomorrah for the last few months, and it's his response to Sopranos being the best show, kind of like Sopranos, basically. And he says he loves Gomorrah, thinks it's even better. This is a cinematic spin-off feature film from the hit crime series Gomorrah. This is coming on March 15th. And yeah, not a lot on here, but at least we're getting it. It's not something common that we are getting something like this from a boutique. Kino has also put out, I think we are at the first 3 seasons of Gomorrah. So hopefully they do season 4 and 5 so that they can do everything. All right, and the last title for this month is on March 8th. Code Red and Kino are putting out Starflight 1. This is 115 minutes from 1983 with John Dykstra and Lee Majors, Hal Linder, Lauren Hutton are in this. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this one, but it's a very Code Red sounding title. I will go that far. All right, one picture I passed over that I said I wanted to go back to. I usually don't hawk a lot on my show, especially on my channel at all. I am going to do that a little bit right now. I've had people asking for some different types of merch in the merch store for a little while. So I put up a couple different shirt styles for the first of the year. And with these, I also put up a discount for the first week. So the discount is for 10% off and it lasts through this coming Saturday. And the link for the store is in the description below. And I had somebody that wanted to focus on slipcovers. And so I had to put this on here. Movies last a couple hours, but slipcovers last forever. And then the other one that I put up, I actually have one that's not in this post that's up there too. You can go find it. But there's also different styles for these shirts as well. The other one says, in a world full of VHS tapes of Titanic, be a Blu-ray of Bloodhook with the slipcover. Yeah, I've had some good feedback on both of these. Had some people buy them. I'm stoked, and yeah, I love that I'm able to do this and that I've helped foster this community that is just down to be a part of Disconnected and get reconnected every Thursday night. Go over these announcements and hang out. So I appreciate you guys. I know I made a big heartfelt plug at the end of last week's show, and I don't want to do it too much again, but if you are interested, please support the show. Pick one of these up. They come in a couple different styles. I've got all kinds of stuff up in that store. And yeah, they are really, really decent. I've got one for my kids. I've got one for myself. I love them. Let's go over next week's releases on Blu-ray.com. Next week, January 11th, we got some big boys coming out. Dune in 4K. The Great Escape from Kino in 4K. Halloween Kills in 4K. One of my most anticipated titles, because I still have not gotten to see it, Spencer is coming out next week on Blu-ray. The Celebration from Criterion is coming out. Gambit with Michael Caine is coming out from Kino. We are getting Juice in 4K. Cannot wait for that. The Temp is coming from Scream Factory. Breaking In is coming from Kino. Maria's Lovers is coming from Code Red or Scorpion, I believe. And then Whispers in the Dark from Scream Factory. Impasse, I believe, is also coming from Code Red. The card player is being re-released through Kino, so it comes with a slipcover if you're interested. And then Deep Red is getting its standard 4K release. Not many other big titles. I've had some people bring up Double Walker coming from Kino. I've not seen that yet, but I've been interested in it at least. And I think I'm going to get that Dune 4K Steelbook for sure. The Steelbook is this orange one here. Looks really good. I agree, Video Store. I've had 2 people tell me that just today, that physical media is dying. And I don't get it. There's so many releases coming out every single week. This is the second week of the month, and we're getting Dune on 4K, The Great Escape. So many wonderful titles. I agree. John is getting Halloween Kills. Nice. That steel looks really good for it. All right. I am bringing back a digital giveaway. I'm going to go for an older title. That's kind of a joke because it's a fairly new movie. Everybody has probably seen this, but if you're wanting a 4K digital copy of Avengers Infinity Wars just to get back at Martin Scorsese saying it's not cinema, you're going to go to, let me see, redeemdigitalmovie.com, and I'm going to put the code in the chat, and somebody's going to let me know when they get it. Go to redeemdigitalmovie.com. redeemdigitalmovie.com. Now, when you are ready, let me make sure I did this right. All right, when you are ready, I'm going to press enter, and you are going to copy and paste and see who can get there the fastest. Let me know when you get it. Here we go. 3, 2, and go. Maybe next week I'll give away in-game if somebody actually gets this and wanted it. Okay, so now I usually go to collection update. I said I had a small stack, but it's still a stack. That's still like a lot. I hate to make it sound like I don't have that much and I get too much. I finally got in Warner Archives. One Crazy... What is on the cover there? Just a piece of the box. One Crazy Summer. Back when John Cusack was the romantic lead, oddly, for so long. This one also has Demi Moore in it and is a really good movie. Anybody that hasn't seen this in a long time, it still works. Pick this one up if you haven't. Warner Archive has been going on sale frequently on Amazon. So if you still have not gotten some of the newer ones, by all means, please get it. Uh-oh. Darren says, has anyone got a problem with the stream? Has it changed to 240p? I've not gotten a notification that my internet's bad. Hopefully not. I don't want to go into any much more if it's going to be awful. I got some classic animation with Beavis and Butthead Do America. Finally got the brand new 25-year anniversary release. This is a surprisingly good release. We've got commentary by Mike Judge and Yvette Kaplan. The big picture, we're going to scoring the film. The SmackDown, MTV News, Celebrity Shorts, trailers, TV spots. This is just a classic. Had to have it. Stream is fine. Good to hear. 100 got the code. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate that. From, who is this? Kino that put this out? Oh, geez. This is like a whole bunch of production companies. One of those. Just to prove to you all that I listen to people on here, I listen to a lot of recommendations, and this is one that had eluded me. And some people a couple weeks ago said that this was one that they recommend. And so I put it in my wish list, and then it went on sale randomly last week. So I picked up Baby Teeth. Still haven't had a chance to watch it. Obviously, you see the plastic still on it because I just got this in. But this is, it looks fantastic. And it's from IFC Films, I think is the biggest company on here. And for those that haven't seen it yet, because this flew under the radar pretty far for me. This says, when seriously ill teenager Milla falls madly in love with small-time drug dealer Moses, it's her parents' worst nightmare. But as Milla's first brush with love brings her a new lust for life, things get messy and traditional morals go out the window. Milla soon shows everyone in her orbit, her parents, Moses, a sensitive music teacher, a budding child violinist, and a disarmingly honest pregnant neighbor, how to live like you have nothing to lose. What might have been a disaster for the Finley family instead leads to letting go and finding grace in the glorious chaos of life. Baby Teeth joyously explores how good it is not to be dead yet and how far we will go for love. That sounds really good. Video Store asks, how do I choose what film to watch? Do I go through them in any order or just impulsive? I I tend to, I mean, first of all, as many people from here, they know I watch everything with my wife. There are very few times I get to watch a film without her. So I don't know if this is going to sound sexist in any way. I kind of judge her mood because I can watch anything pretty much at any time and enjoy it. My wife, however, if she's in a bad mood, I'll choose a comedy to help lighten up the mood. If she is in like I don't want to say like a mysterious mood, but if it's been a rough day, like we've got two young kids, sometimes it's a hard day. Sometimes watching like a good mystery will help that. It just gets your brain locked in and really looking into it. Sometimes, you know, a deep horror film just really goes wild on what you're feeling, and I just gauge it and find something that works for her. But an odd thing that I do is as stuff comes in that I want to prioritize soon with her, I keep a little stack of these are movies that we are watching soon, genuinely. One that has been in that stack for a while that we just watched this week is The Night House from 2021. And I will say, by all means, go watch The Night House if you have not seen it yet. That movie was incredible. They shared some ideas behind grief that were novel, that were unique, that were so well done. I loved The Night House. It was a borderline 5-star film for me. That came out last year through, I think it was originally through Fox. It's got the weird Disney style packaging on the front. I don't love it, but it's there. At least it got a release, and it's got a little making of on it, which is nice. What's up, Maximus? Glad you're here. Chris says Savage Steve Holland, who directed One Crazy Summer, directed the John Cusack classic Better Off Dead. Great film and great Cusack role. Yeah, Better Off Dead is amazing. I just find it odd that John Cusack was like a romantic lead for so long. That's such an odd choice. Another piece of classic animation that went on sale this week. This is from Warner Brothers themselves. The Jetsons, the complete series. A lot of these were on sale. A lot of the classic animation. This was on sale. The Thundar, the Barbarians release was on sale. I also ordered the Teen Titans, the complete series for my kid. Yeah, a lot of these were on sale last week, so had to pick those up. Lissa says, love The Night House. It really surprised me. It surprised me too. It was really well done. Maximus got to meet Joe Bob in Chicago last month. Nice. Was he doing the How the Redneck Made Hollywood? I am dying to see that show, and I just missed it in like 3 different cities that I happened to be in right after he did it. And I'm always super jealous. God, I want to see it. One that was recommended on a podcast I listened to, gosh, I want to say in November. And again, just happened to go on sale. I looked for a really good price. This is from Code Red, which I don't really love buying from anymore, but Werewolves on Wheels. This is supposed to be super fun. This gang thought it was tough till it found a new type of hell, the Bride of Satan. This is from 1971, and it's got Stephen Oliver and Severn Darden in it. So names I do not recognize. They're from Battle for the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Cisco Pike. That could be why. Yeah, this looks great. And you can see some of what you can expect on the back there. John loves it. Nice. Future Boy is really excited for Chippendales. Hopefully it's original 4-3. I think it has to be. If they mess that up, whoo boy, I'm going to be pissed. Ken would like a Paramount Presents of Better Off Dead, but probably won't happen. I've got that FYE Steelbook as well. It's a good Steelbook, but again, that transfer is not great. And Mitchell, this is one I am dying for. I would love to have all of the Scooby on Blu-ray. Maximus says it was a Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Santa's Sleigh double feature. That sounds awesome. Saw drive-in totals live. That's cool. I did not meet Joe Bob 2 years ago at Crypticon because I had just met him at Texas Frightmare that same year. So I did not choose to meet him again. But really, I just wanted to see that show. He didn't do that show in Kansas City, and he did not do it in Texas. From Kino, one of the titles that came out in, I think, September, that's being held because I pre-ordered this was something else that just came in. I finally got in Golden Needles with Jodan Baker. I love him. And Jim Kelly. This is one I've been dying to see since they announced this. I don't think I've ever seen this. And yeah, this is one of their new fancy slips. I'm really stoked I got this in. And the last thing, I'm going to have to move these because it's a bigger release. One more that came on sale, and I held off for a long time when it was on sale this week without buying this, but I've never seen it go for as cheap as it did, and I've been dying to see this entire release in hand for a long time. I finally got the Shout Factory Herzog Collection. This has so much in it. Just let me show the back here, and there is a little less glare. This is so much. Like, I don't really want to say bigger because it's not super tall. As you can see, it is compared to the All the Hauntsby Hours, just slightly taller, but it is a thick release as well. And what's odd is look how much longer it is than a regular Blu-ray box set. It is going to stick out like a sore thumb, and oddly, I'm going to open this on stream because I've not seen this in person before. Take that off, and here is what we got. There is a picture of the sides a little closer up, and in the front, oh man, it feels really nice. For a Shout Factory release, this is pretty good. So we've got a pretty decent looking book. Not a ton of information in the front, just some information on the films, a little bit on Herzog. But then you come to these giant pouches. And these pages are super thick, as you can see. That's one page, but there's a disc on each side. And these look great. This looks like a better version of some of these other box sets that we've been getting with the pouches. There's Nosferatu. All right. That is the Herzog Collection. I agree, Eric. I thought it was going to go out of print a long time ago. And just so everybody's aware, if you really like Herzog, there is a BFI release that is a box set that has some crossover with this one, but it has a lot that's not in here as well. So it's kind of worth getting both. I've not gotten the BFI one yet. I think it's BFI. I should have checked that before I said that. But yeah, this is, it was on sale this week. Keep an eye on this. If this goes on sale again, this is one, obviously, an incredible director, somebody that has had some massive impacts on film. And this whole thing covers, as you can see here, from 1970 to 1999. And it's got 1,500 minutes of film in here, which is fantastic. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16 titles in here. This is a great release. Probably one of the best from Shout Factory. And again, shocking that it's Shout Factory, but there is the logo on the side. Oh, thanks, Maximus. John interviewed Herzog when I wrote for a website, and I was scared. I mean, yeah, that's Herzog. I agree. All right, so once again, I didn't want to go have I'm going to say a super short show, as I've already been on here, 2 hours. I went and chose 5 more recommendations. I had a couple people message that they liked that from last time. I'm certainly not going to do this every week, but I had a couple of these staring at me that I wanted to bring up and get some more attention on. So I grabbed a couple more to make it 5, and I wanted to share with you now. And sadly, at least, one of these is out of print. I'll show that one first. It's out of print, but the last time I checked, it was going for not crazy money on eBay. That first title is from the now defunct Drafthouse Films, but it also is labeled as RLJ on the side. So it's one of the ones they did in conjunction with another company. This is I Declare War from Drafthouse Films. This is from 2012. If you have never seen this, this is an incredible movie. Like a lot of people, I not only love movies, I wanted to make movies for a very long time. And me and a group of friends, we made a movie back in 2009. At this point, I was already like a full adult. I wasn't like a teenager. I went and did something that turned out similar to I Declare War. We made a little short film in two parts that basically showed us having fake weapons, and we went out and had a little spy thriller type short film that we made, and we overlaid. I guess I said fake weapons. They were not there. We pretended that we had weapons, and we overlaid real sound effects on it, and it was more just for comedic effect uh, to a serious storyline. But then this came along and did it so much better than we did. I Declare War is basically a bunch of kids playing capture the flag in a forest, and they'll hold like a tree branch to use as a rocket launcher, or they'll have a little they'll pick up a rock and they'll pretend it's a grenade and they'll throw it and everything. Now the film, it has parts where it shows them playing with the rocks and sticks and everything, but the crutch of the film, the bulk of it, shows them as if they are actually in war playing capture the flag with real weapons. You see kids being shot, being blown up, walking around with grenade launchers, and having a knife fight. It is a great movie. Draft House Films was great. I missed them completely. Had a really great run. I want to read the synopsis itself. Me describing it probably doesn't make it sound too exciting. It says, armed with nothing more than twigs, their imaginations, and a simple set of rules, a group of 12-year-olds engage in a lively game of capture the flag in the neighborhood woods, start dangerously blurring the lines between make-believe and reality. Rocks equal grenades, trees are control towers, sticks equal submachine guns. The youthful innocence of the game gradually takes on a different tone as the quest for victory pushes the boundaries of friendship. The would-be warriors get a searing glimpse of humanity's dark side as their battle scenario takes them into an adventure where fantasy combat clashes with the real world. I love this movie. First time I saw this, oddly enough, it made me want to watch it again just a couple days later. I got this. You know what? I think I might have gotten this originally off of eBay just because it was cheaper at the time. And another podcast originally had turned me onto this movie because I had not heard about it. I had not been following Draft House Films at the time, and it's fantastic. It is now easily one of my favorites from Draft House. There are some special features on here. There's an audio commentary with the directors. There is audio commentary with a whole bunch of the actors in it, which are kids, obviously. Building a battle featurette. There's a 16-page booklet. There is a soldiers and actors featurette, and the ultimate I Declare War Capture the Flag Paintball Challenge. And this is the booklet on the inside. If I remember right, yep, it is an awful booklet. That is the worst thing I will say about this. It is mostly full-page pictures. So not a lot of like learning that you're going to do from it necessarily. And what I think, I don't know why I haven't turned this around, but I think the better art for this one is this. I love this cover art. So I will be turning this around now. I Declare War, like I said, from 2012, only 93 minutes. Great, great movie. And let's see. Eric says the film that Master Chaos wrote is playing at a theater about 5 miles from me this week. Yeah, you should absolutely go see that. Give him some support. That's awesome. We are not getting it around here, unfortunately. John misses Draft House Films. I agree. Future Boy says, from recent announcements, The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm and Starlight. Day one, by the way, I Declare War reverse cover art is superior. Yes, I agree. That was great timing. What do you mean from recent announcements? Is that from Draft House? Because I had heard they might be making a comeback, but I have not heard anything set in stone yet. Next one, I think I mentioned on here during a Kino sale, probably the October sale. One that does not get enough love. I love Spike Lee sometimes. I know a lot of people for Spike Lee are ride or die, and some people are just, I want to die. But I truly love the movie Summer of Sam. It's kind of long. It is, okay, it's very long. It's 142 minutes, but it is an odd ride. It is a 1999 film, and it's got who all is in this? It's got John Leguizamo, Adrian Brody, Mira Sorvino, Jennifer Esposito, Anthony LaPaglia, Ben Gazzara. There are a lot of famous faces in this. They are very young. You can see a very young Adrian Brody in his punk garb there, and then we got John Leguizamo here. And this is about from Spike Lee, the director of Do the Right Thing, blah, 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 comes this electrifying take on the Son of Sam murders in New York City during the summer of '77, centering on the residents of an Italian-American Bronx neighborhood who live in fear and distrust of one another. The heat is soaring to record highs, blackouts are filling the streets with looters, and the murders of a man who calls himself the Son of Sam are gripping the city that never sleeps in fear. As friends in a small Bronx community become obsessed with the idea that the Son of Sam is someone nearby, the madman's fearsome plague of terror becomes the catalyst that prompts relationships to fall apart and trust to disintegrate into dread. There are, let me see, what else does this say? Featuring an amazing soundtrack loaded with vintage hits of the '70s. It's a really good soundtrack. Beautifully shot by Ellen Kuras with a rousing score by Terrence Blanchard. This is such a great release. Thank you, Future Boy. I was wildly confused there. Thank you. So yes, Summer of Sam, really good, really well acted. This is one of the better written Spike Lee films, and it just flew under the radar for some reason. Came out in '99, could be why. This is just so well done, and they actually go into some of the Son of Sam stuff a lot more in detail than I expected when I first saw this, because I believe they use the actual transcripts of some of the conversations held with Sam, and they show that in the film. So, yeah, really good stuff. Really shows a lot of how the heat wave affected it during that month, and it was a big deal. So it is a sweaty, sweaty movie. John Leguizamo, well, I am like losing my mind tonight. Yeah, John Leguizamo. He's got an odd last name. Really good in this, but he is sleazy as hell. Okay, next one. Very different vibe. I love this movie, and it's A24, and I know that they've got a weird reputation. A24 fans love them. Other people think that they are too snobby. I tend to like most of what they put out, but this one is one that does not get enough attention, that I do not understand why. This movie is a first-time director, and I think this is the only film he's directed so far, done by Jonah Hill, and that is mid-'90s. And I highly, highly recommend this film if you were born anywhere between like 1980 and 1992. This is going to be a very easy to relate movie. This captured the period of the '90s better than I think almost anything I've ever seen. And that's because I was at the perfect age of what this is trying to portray at that time. So this is written and directed by Jonah Hill. Mid-'90s follows Stevie, this guy in the front, a 13-year-old in '90s era LA who spends his summer navigating between his troubled home life and a group of new friends that he meets at a Motor Avenue skate shop. This is, it's not really like a coming of age story. It's more of like a slice of life story. And I love those when they're done really well. And you could tell Jonah Hill and I are very similar in age, and it shows, because this is, I grew up in Southern California in the '90s, and it is this movie. It is spot on for everything that it was like. Special features on this, we got deleted scenes and a commentary with Jonah Hill and the cinematographer Christopher Blauvelt. Really good movie. By all means, if you haven't seen it, I completely suggest that you take a look at mid-'90s. I've showed this to a couple people that had never even heard of it coming out, but it is so well done. So well done. John says, now they don't think the Son of Sam acted alone. I mean, we figured out the Golden State Killer recently, right? I would not be surprised if we kept finding out some of these other true stories. You know, it's hard doing a 2.5-hour show after I trained a bunch of people at work today. I'm surprised I don't lose my voice on this a lot. So after mid-'90s, another one that has been staring me in the eye from my shelf, that for some reason it was like begging to be talked about is another 90s film. This one is from 98, and it is from Kino Lorber, one of my favorites. It's so damn cheesy. Deep Rising. Deep Rising is with Treat Williams and Famke Janssen. Famke, however you say her first name. This is, well, I was going to say underwater horror. I don't think this is underwater horror, though. It's more like on the water horror. As you can see, there's a cruise ship there. This is buckle up for edge of your seat excitement with the explosive hit Deep Rising. A band of ruthless hijackers seize the most luxurious cruise ship in the world. And they mean luxurious. It is the richest cruise ship ever made. It is huge. It is worth like $500 million. It's crazy. Only to find that all the passengers have mysteriously disappeared. But they are not alone. Something terrifying is lurking just out of sight. Behind every deck and passageway, a deadly force from the unexplored depths of the ocean that begins to snatch the horrified intruders one by one. Treat Williams and sexy Famke Janssen lead a group of survivors who must overcome incredible odds in their breathtaking battle to escape the doomed ship alive. Written and directed by Stephen Sommers and featuring a stellar cast that includes Anthony Heald, Kevin J. O'Connor, Wes Studi, Jason Fleming, and Cliff Curtis and Jimin Hounsou. I never remember how to say his name. Deep Rising is amazing. That is the Kino cover, but the cover you might recognize is this one. This one, I feel like it had another reversible. Okay, it's just the Kino cover on the inside. I love Deep Rising. For some reason, oceanic horror, whether it be underwater horror or cruise ship horror or Leviathan or anything like that, I love those movies. And this one is so well done. It's so cheesy and so 90s, but it is well worth it. The slipcover, obviously not available anymore, but Kino did a really good job on this release. Kino, remember, used to be bare bones for everything. Look at this list of special features here. That is a Kino Lorber release. I'm going to go into these. Audio commentary by the director and editor. Interviews with 3 different actors. Interview with Dean Cundy. Interview with John Burton, the visual effects from ILM. Interview with Van Ling, the visual effects band from the Ranch Entertainment. Interview with 2 of the makeup effects guys. Interview with the DP Howard Atherton. ILM behind the scenes and extras. Newly commissioned art, animated image gallery, 5.1 surround sound, trailer, everything. This is a killer release. I love this movie. This has been on sale multiple times from Kino. Next time it comes up, please look into it. It is so worth it. This one is an incredible movie. All right. Let's see. Eric says the killer from Memories of Murder was also identified. I had heard that. I've not watched Memories of Murder in a long time. Nerd says this movie was fun watching it in the theater. Nice. And Skolder loves Deep Rising. Wonderful B monster film. It's so good. The last one, I don't know why I saved this one for last. I think a lot of people have probably seen this one, but I feel like he has fallen. The director of this has fallen a little bit because he's not put anything out in a couple of years. I do think he's got one in the works, and I don't remember it's coming out this year or early next year. Dave, yes, the case for Deep Rising does have reversible art. This is the art on the other side. So nothing super special. The director for this next one is one that has done, I think 3 films and maybe 4 that he's put out by now. But this is from, what year was this one put out? This one, this is another director that does a lot of long movies. I think it says 2017. That might be this physical release, but this is from RLJE Films, which they're not necessarily a boutique label, but this is by S. Craig Zoller, Brawl in Cell Block 99. Now, this is what a lot of people seem to be calling S. Craig Zoller's worst film. And I might agree with that. Bone Tomahawk is my favorite from him by far. But if you have not seen any of his films, he is known for being brutally violent in every single thing that he does. But this is still a really good movie. But the surprising thing, this is a 4K release. It does not have HDR, so it's just primarily for resolution. But this is usually for like $9 or $10, not on sale. You can find this on sale for $8, maybe $7 sometimes. And it's well worth at least twice that. This is really fun. This has Let's see. Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Carpenter, Mark Blucas, Mustafa Shakir, uh, Udo Kier, and Don Johnson. Those are the other big names in here. So zoom in on some of that artwork there that you can see some of those other individuals. This has some crazy, crazy scenes in it. There is, obviously, by the namesake, you can see there's going to be a brawl in Cell Block 99. And there is some gore in the end of this that is not, I would usually just say something like over the top, but it is beyond over the top. It goes into new areas. I mean, there is, how do you describe it? There is like a face grinding across the ground scene. Yeah, it's such an interesting movie. It is not as well done as Bone Tomahawk, obviously. It is not as well done as, I can't even remember the title of the third one at the moment. Anyways, the one with Mel Gibson, that one is a little bit better in my opinion as well. This is still good, and Vince Vaughn puts in maybe a career best performance in this. I thought he was great in this. Absolutely, just put on a clinic in this film. He is a really good director, and keep an eye out on him. There's some promising things coming for sure. If you've never seen Bone Tomahawk, I 100% recommend that one as well. But that's got a lot of attention. I think Brawl is still one that is a little slept on, and again, a 4K that you can normally find for like $7, and it's got an embossed slipcover and everything. Drag Across Concrete. Thank you, Skolder. Appreciate that. Drag Across Concrete is really good. Thanks, nerd. Everybody's trying to help me out there. I was drawing a blank. All right. That is all I've got. Anybody have any talking points? Anything else come up this week? I will say one thing I did not share, Alligator and Alligator 2 had their extras come out this week. And Alligator especially is a ridiculously stacked disc. If you have not bought that, 100% consider it. It is going to be a 3-disc 4K set from Scream Factory. They got a new interview with Bryan Cranston, who was a PA on that set. There is the brand new in HD TV cut of Alligator, and it looks to be an absolute winner of a release. Alligator 2's got a whole bunch of good extras that are brand new as well. 100% recommend both of those. Alligator is such a good movie, and again, I think I said this when it first got announced. I may prefer Alligator 2 overall as a movie, but obviously Alligator was the more important film. I'm so glad we're getting both. I'm so glad Alligator's in 4K. It is a shocking, shocking fact that we are getting both of those. Cinematic is here. What's going on? Zoller films are long but good. Also randomly wrote Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. He did. I forgot all about that. Yes, he was the main writer for Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. And it pales in comparison to his films. he is really good, and I cannot wait to see what else he does. And that especially Bone Tomahawk. I mean, obviously the performances are great, but the writing in that movie is superb, and it's so visceral. Especially obviously the main scene that is famous in that movie is you can feel it more than others for a reason. Any other talking points? Anything else anybody wants to talk about? I know SRS Cinema came up tonight. Check out that sale if you're interested. Not going to be a lot of sales probably this month, considering we just had holiday season and Black Friday and everything just recently. So a lot of the labels are going to be taking a break. If anything else comes up, I'll let you know. But other than that, I think I am good for the night. I hope you all enjoyed hanging out for, we are at almost 2.5 hours tonight. Appreciate you spending your Thursdays with me every single week. I've got some other videos I've been filming over the last week, and I guarantee you those are going to be coming out here soon. And in the meantime, like I always say, from one collector to all of you, I hope you have a great night, great weekend, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Remember, sub to Discovering Cinema. Check out the merch in the link below. Have a good week, everybody. Later.